What's going on, YouTube? Well, as you guys can tell, you got the 240 here, the S13. So, like any project, and sure enough, with this one, I get the car home. So we're going to take the car off the trailer and start it up. It runs, shuts off. Runs, shuts off. We're like, what the hell's going on? Fucking. So end up jumping it again. Jumped it a couple times to get it up into the garage. And today I'm working on my sister's car. I had to change her radiator and stuff. So I'm sitting there looking, trying to figure out what the hell is going on exactly. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure that the camera's all good and stuff, and I'm using the Canon today. But so I'm working on my sister's car. I got it all fixed and everything, so I got that portion done. Her radiator was leaking, so I'm cleaning up the shop and stuff, getting ready to finish up the Integra and get that thing gone. So I get all that stuff done. I'm cleaning up a little bit, cleaning up the shop, just to make room for everything else, just to be a little bit more organized. So I do that, and I'm like, let me see what the hell's going on with this thing, why it keeps on shutting off. Because I'm like, I don't think it's the battery. It's usually the last thing that it is. And I'm like, well, maybe it's the alternator. So I did the trick where, if you guys don't know about it, is you unplug the positive terminal. It's usually a 10mm on OEM Nissan stuff, but this has a replacement positive terminal, and it's a 13, I think. So you take that off while the car is running. You first start the car up and make sure it's running. While it's running, you loosen that off. You take it off, and if the car stays running, that means the alternator is working. But if the car shuts off, it means that the alternator is not charging any of the electronics, and the car shuts off. So sure enough, I do all that stuff, and the car shuts off. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's probably the alternator. And like I said, with this project, I'm not really sure whether I want to, what I'm going to do with it, but I'm definitely doing a swap. And I was like, I really don't want to spend money on putting a new alternator. I have to also replace the radiator, because the radiator has a crack in it on the top. I'll show you guys in a minute. But so I'm like, I don't want to have to spend money on a new radiator or a new alternator, stuff like that, if I'm going to be swapping in a new engine. So I'm like, let me see what's going on with it. And sure enough, let me see if I can get you guys a good shot. But right there, as you can see, there is absolute. Sure enough, I freaking look, and the belt's missing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, why is the belt missing? It shouldn't be. So sure enough, the belt's missing, and the belt was missing, and what the fuck was that? Sorry guys, I lost my train of thought. So the belt was missing. I'm like, okay, where's the belt? There's the belt. It was sitting. Luckily, this car, still being OEM and everything, it still has the panel on the bottom. So the belt was literally just sitting on the panel. So I'm gonna remove the intake and get to that. Unfortunately, I have to remove this belt right here to get to the other one. So that's the shitty part about it. But I'm going to try to record some of this for you guys. I wasn't planning on doing this, but this is what happens when you own a old car like this. You get to have the fun of replacing everything. So I'm going to grab some WD-40, and I'm going to grab some WD-40 and some 10 and 12 millimeters. That's what it looks like, and go from there. And then it simply comes off just like that. And there's a tensioner right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a bolt that looks like it's a 12mm. Yeah, maybe bigger. And there's a nut in the center, it's a 14 also. You loosen that. Once you loosen that, then the whole belt comes off. It's a pretty thin belt. It's only a 3 rib, but that one was fine. It didn't need to be replaced. And then you grab your new belt, because now you can squeeze it by. The thing you will have to do is you will have to let me bring you guys over here. There's a tensioner right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a little hard one. It's right here. You have to loosen up both of these bolts, and then that will move the alternator back and forth to get it to give you room to slide the belt on. Let's see. You loosen up the bottom bolt and the top bolt, and you take that set screw right here, and you twist it all the way out just like I did. That will allow the alternator to that'll allow the alternator to pivot, allowing you to basically release the tension to get the belt on there. So now once you get the belt on there, now you can do the reverse process of basically tightening everything back down.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden road, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You
can crank the car a couple times just to check it and make sure that the belt isn't going to fall off. Alright, now that you crank it a couple times, just make sure that it's not going to fall off or anything, or that it didn't walk off of it or anything, or any crazy thing like that. And once it's good, then you can tighten up the center nut and the bottom one, and you should be all set, and you can put the rest of it back. Now you can put this belt on that's for the power steering pump. There's an idler and it goes to the crank. Alright guys, so I got it all done. It's all back together. I didn't get a chance to record it because my camera's dying right now. It's at one bar.